Money equals debt. When the majority of the people get aware that and play the debt game, would that also lead to the end of the financial system? Yes. Um, yes. It depends, right? Because again, the debt game requires you to have good credit, requires you to play the game they want you to play, and they are using the game in a certain way so that you could lose with your debts, right? Now, keep in mind, if you don't pay the, let's just say you go, so how do you play the debt game? So for those who don't know, well, you don't take out debts to buy consumer items. You don't go on a vacation by going into debt from the bank. No, that would be a big mistake. What you do is you buy real estate or assets that will earn you an income, income to pay the debt, pay the interest payments, right? So, but what you have to understand in this game is that they're trying to take your assets from you at the same time. So in order to do that, right, they get you to go into one direction in one specific asset class. They reduce the value of that asset class, and because you're using that asset as collateral, they get to take it back from you. Now, there is some issues with that because, of course, banks have to pay the debt note that you owe. So if the asset does not equate to how much you owe, they have to sell other assets in order to cover your losses. So they have to play a really smart game where they ensure that your house price doesn't go down. So for example, what they do is like what it is basically called a derivative. It's really complicated stuff here what we're talking about, right? So when you borrow against the house, right, what happens is they come up with these fancy derivatives, right? Just I'm not going to give you the example exactly how it works, but basically, if you defaulted or if you couldn't pay, if the price of value of the house drops, right, that derivative kicks in so that they can get covered. Now, this creates another problem for them, right? Because now those other people who are paying the insurance, it has an incentive to make sure that values continue staying higher. So the whole system is geared to try to pull in all kinds of directions. One way to take the house, another way to keep the house value higher. And so because of that, this creates a dynamic where everybody's going into debt more and more and more, which would cause the system to collapse. Because, hey, you know what? If everybody figures it out that they can borrow money as much as they want, right? They can do that and cause the system to collapse because it's just creating more and more money. This is why we're seeing housing prices go up and away. There's just too much money in the system, and it's going into houses, which unfortunately is not a good idea unless you borrow against the house to maintain it. The reason why is because the value of the house is actually over exaggerated. And you mean, like, what do you mean? Well, simple put, right? If too much money goes into one asset, right, it goes higher. And because the money comes from printing money, right, then it'll cause it to go higher, and that's false. That's a false value. Its real value of any particular property is how much people can pay for it with cash from their job. That's the real value. And since that's a lot lower, that's than what the prices we're seeing today. That's why we're going to see a massive crash, if not within this cycle, or whatever cycle we have in the common markets, whether it's a bearish cycle or recession or whatever. If that crash doesn't happen in the recession, then it will happen when the system collapses, because once the system collapses, you're not going to be able to take out any more debts. And that would be that for the speculation of houses. So if you put a lot of money into your house and you're thinking that that value is going to be there at the end of your retirement, you've got another thing coming to you. You will get wiped out completely.